Let's go to another plant that we use at the holidays all the time, the pepper. The little ornamental pepper. Lovely for fall arrangements. This is a 6-inch one. They come in all sorts of colors with reds and oranges and yellows and so on. Question you always get, is it edible? Well, it's sold as a non-edible pepper. That doesn't mean it's poisonous. It is, I've never tried them, but I understand they are hot, like a Thai pepper. So they would be very, very hot, but the chances are they've probably also been sprayed. When something is not sold as an edible plant, you know, if it needs to be sprayed, they're going to spray it. You'd have to wash it off. So what I usually tell people is it's not poisonous, but it's very, very hot, and you probably are better off to buy the peppers you're going to eat at the grocery store. But it's not going to kill anybody. It's going to burn them out. Same thing on the ornamental cabbage and kale. I'm going to take one of these home and try it in salad or something. Again, they're edible, but I think by the time they grow, they're pretty tough, and you probably might not want to eat them. Besides that, it's an expensive salad. But ornamental cabbages and kales are wonderful fall, winter filler plants because they just do so well, and they can be stuck here and there and the other place to look beautiful. Okay, cyclamen. Number one most misunderstood plant in the world. And partly because cyclamen are sold all over. So if you live in Chicago, and where it's probably snowing today, or Minnesota, your cyclamen is going to go in the house. That's what the little label is going to say, because these labels are designed to go all the way across for everybody. So we're going to say, put it in a nice bright sunny window, blah, 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 blah. I asked a grower back there, how long do you expect the homeowner to be able to have their cyclamen look good? He said probably 5 to 6 weeks. And that's true here. You'll probably get 8 to maybe 9 weeks. If you put your cyclamen in the house, cyclamen is a semi-alpine plant from the mountains in Turkey. Out here, I talked to Janet, because she said they can actually freeze and come back. So they'll take some, they won't take down to 22, but they can take a light frost where the leaves are actually crispy and look a little bit bad, but come out of it again. So they can take the cold. They love it cold and chilly. Keep this cyclamen outside in the shade, keep it watered and fed. It will still be blooming in June. Absolutely, almost guaranteed. Here in San Diego, where our temperatures are so mild, lots of the cyclamen just keep on going. They're supposed to go dormant in the summer when it gets hot. So when somebody said, when their cyclamen is warm enough and the leaves all fold over and the thing, it's not dead. It's one of the things we try and say in the instructions. It's just resting. It's like a plant that's dormant in the wintertime. Cyclamen are dormant in the summertime. Put it aside, bring it out again, and start to water it in, September, October, when it gets cool, October. And many, many times it'll start to grow again and come on up and give you another year or two or more. It's not a big deal, but people like to know that. If you're going to plant, they're going to plant their cyclamen. This is a tuber like corn, like a potato, or like a begonia tuber, and you can feel that tuber with my thumb when I'm feeling it here. If your customer, if you're planting your cyclamen out in a flower bed, which you may do, you want to plant it a little bit high, so that it's just a little bit above the soil level. If you plant it low and the soil all drifts in there into the crown, my fun way of telling the people is that you can bless the cyclamen as you plant it and hold the funeral at the same time. Because it will die in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. Because when the soil gets in that crown, then you get crown rot. And that's the kiss of death. So there's some basic rules. Keep your cyclamen outside in the shade where it's cool. Bring it inside. You got company coming for dinner? Bring them all inside, set them around, and they say, oh, what a wonderful grower you are. I say, yeah, thank you. And then since they go outside where it's nice and cool. I will sometimes bring them home and keep them inside. And I'll get about, at 6 weeks, they're beginning to look a little bit tatty. By 8 weeks, they're definitely where Mario comes and says, you do something about that cyclamen, Mom. It looks really bad. Both the 4-inch and the 6-inch are different species, different varieties. This is one of the laser ones, and this is Oliver told me, but it was a long name, I couldn't remember. T something, started with a T. Again, there's all sorts of varieties that we choose from, and we don't choose the ones that grow best. When I was talking to Janet Kister, this is actually a special variety. I thought it was.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Ah.
That is stays small like this, like 2-inch. If you put this 2-inch in a 4-inch pot, it will eventually get bigger. But it isn't, I thought before that it was this one, they just kept small in a 2-inch, but it is a separate variety. So, but they're little cute little minis. You can actually even do those minis, you know how we have the little self-watering pots for the poinsettias? You can do that. You can actually take a mini and take it out, wash all the soil off the roof, put it in a little tight neck thing where the roots go down and grow it in water. As long as you keep like a narcissus, half the bulb up above the water.
Show the new one. Mom.
Oh, you mean? Oh, yes. This is a new novelty that came out this year, where it's upside down cap. So it's got the white cap on top of the purple, and it stays sort of bent over, showing off its new hat. Yeah. I like to know what I'm saying. So all the cyclamen are $8.50 for the 8-inch, for the 6-inch, $4.95 for the 4-inch, and the little minis are $2.10.
$2.50.
$2.50. Thank you, Mary. I like to, that's one of the reasons we hand out written instructions, to really emphasize to people that they want to keep them outside. Questions on cyclamen?
I have a question.
Yeah.
In your greenhouse, or where you grow these, what do you do about air circulation? What do we do about wind outside? Is wind a bad thing?
Okay, what do we do about air circulation? What do we do about wind? Wind dries out plants. So if you've got a wind tunnel, like in the carport or something like that, that gives you a real problem. Because the more wind you've got, the faster the leaves are going to dry out and desiccate, and the harder it is for you to keep it maintained and make it look happy. We will turn on fans if we're doing a crop that could mildew. We've got big fans, and they'll turn them on like in day and night or whatever to keep that wind circulation. So you want good air circulation, but you don't want the wind that can constantly, that constantly buffeting wind. If you have a wind problem, try to choose plants that have grassy, sturdy foliage. So you could do your dipladenia with the hard leathery leaves. You can do Russellia, some of those heavy grassy foliage, so that the wind, so that's got a tougher leaf than a soft little, like a
Fuchsia.
like a fuchsia, yeah. You don't put a fuchsia basket. A fuchsia basket is a basket hanging around waiting for an excuse to die. Well, we've all had it. I mean, you know, you go away for 3 days, and wherever you ask to water it was clueless. You come back and the thing's all wilted, well, it's going to die. Yes.
If you want to place cyclamen in large pots, say
Yes.
underneath a camellia or a tree to decorate for the holidays, does it make a difference whether you just make a hole and put the cyclamen in its pot into the larger pot, or actually take it out of the plant?
You can do either. But it make a difference whether when you're making arrangements, you know, when you're putting things in, and we will do either. Sometimes we do where we just take the pots and all and we snug them in, and we'll put a little soil on the bottom just to give them some soil there, and just put the pots in. If you put the pots in, you have to be sure you water into the pot. If you put actually transplant your cyclamen into that, you have the advantage, you can squeeze the roots a little bit if you need to, flatten them to make them go into the right spot. But you have to watch a little bit more for overwatering, especially if you don't have real good drainage. But yeah, the plant, you can do either way. Just remember, if you put it in the pot, then the water, when you're watering, you have to make sure you're getting some water in that pot.
And your question back here, we grow the cyclamen outside under shade cover.
Yeah.
Because it's too warm, and in the greenhouse
Yeah.
it would make them stretch, which is why sometimes you'll see them kind of open and floppy looking. They've done it so they can grow it faster.
Yeah. The true test of a cyclamen that's been grown well, that before it starts to have flowers, you can turn it upside down and it'll stand on its head and the foliage is strong enough to support it. If they've grown that in a greenhouse with too high heat, too close, whatever, the leaves will be floppy and they won't be able to do that. That's back from Bob's old
Oh, yeah.
test. But cyclamen, people just don't understand cyclamen. So this is a question, they put them in the house and they wonder why they don't do, they bury them deep and they die. And then they go dormant in the summertime, they think they killed it. And then they call you. It's amazing, the internet is an amazing thing. So I think my favorite question, I get a lot of questions, and I usually tell them to go to their local, type master gardener or whatever, and ask the question. The lady, I think it was North or South Dakota, she sent me an email, she said, I'm just trying to plant some stuff in my backyard, what should I plant? I don't know, I've never been to North Dakota, I mean, try your local garden center. I think maybe people just spend their lives on the computer, they don't think about going out.